My husband's best friend humiliated me in front of her whole family.
Get him out of here.
So I, 30 female, have been happily married for a few years now. My husband, 31 male, is honestly a gem. Kind, patient, hilarious, loyal. Basically everything you'd want. Which, after having an ex cheat on me with his best friend, is kind of a big deal. That's got to sting.
That's horrible.
That relationship wrecked me for a while. But I worked hard not to drag the wreckage into something new. And my husband, thankfully, has never given me a single reason to question him. Until now. Maybe. I don't know. By the way, this comes from AnxiousFemme12. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So my husband and I have a great relationship and we're pretty social and often hang out with each other's friends. I get along with almost all of his friend group and they've honestly made me feel welcome. Except for her.
Yep.
His childhood best friend. Let's call her C. C has always been cold to me. Not outright rude, just subtle enough to make me feel crazy for noticing. You know that kind of vibe? Every time we've been in the same room, she's managed to talk around me, not to me. I tried. I really did. I've smiled, made conversation, been nothing but warm, even when she's given me nothing to work with. She doesn't show up to group hangouts, but she'll invite him over. And he always tells me, to his credit, he never goes without mentioning it, and he's never been weird or secretive about her, but it still rubs me the wrong way. I've tried to be friendly. I've tried small talk. I've invited her to our birthday barbecues, engagement dinner, and she bailed on it all. She skipped our wedding too. His best friend.
Well, what kind of friend are you then?
The red flags are
going crazy.
Yeah, they're going crazy right now. Right?
100%.
How is he not seeing this either? She only ever seems to reach out to him, usually when she's just been dumped and needs to talk. When I brought it up, my husband says I'm overthinking it, that C is just a little odd socially. Maybe she is. But then, weeks ago, out of freaking nowhere, she messaged me. She asked if I would model for her project. Totally unexpected, and I was caught off guard enough to say yes.
Okay.
Part of me thought maybe this is her trying to connect. Which, hey, that's good. We wanted that.
Could be.
Maybe this was her olive branch. I even felt a little hopeful. God, I was naive.
Ugh.
So I agreed. My husband offered to come with me since he hadn't seen her in a while and thought it'd be fun to catch up after. When we got there, her family was also involved. And from the second I walked in, it was like stepping into some passive-aggressive Twilight Zone. Her mom and sister kept calling my husband our son-in-law. I laugh awkwardly, and I think I must have misheard. It only got worse. During the shoot came more snarky comments, jokes about the one that got away. Some bonds never fade. Her mom at one point literally said, we always thought C would end up with him, but life has its detours, I guess.
Ma'am.
C always imagined walking down the aisle with him, and then it's sweet of her to fill in, though. Oh, come on. I wish I was exaggerating. And C just kept snapping pictures, smiling, saying nothing. No, hey, cut it out. No awkward laugh. No redirect. Nothing. My husband, clearly uncomfortable. I watched him fidget through the whole thing, cleared his throat a few times. He tried to change the subject or came near by me during the shoot. He didn't say much either, just went kind of quiet. I stuck it out for an hour, let her take her photos, smiled, posed, whatever. But the whole time I felt like I was part of a social experiment and everyone else was in on the joke but me. When we got in the car, he was silent for a while. I mean, what do you even say to that?
Dude.
What do you even say? I mean, because I feel like there's been hints that this kind of thing has been happening.
Right.
And now it's so obvious.
Yeah. It's like, dude, we know what's going on. And you're continuing to have this relationship and not just, it just goes unaddressed. There's no way he doesn't know.
Do you think there's an ask that OP makes? Or do you think there is a thing that the husband says that makes OP, that would make OP feel heard and safe?
Yeah, I feel like it's, hey, can you call them, reach back out to them and be like, hey, what you were saying in front of my wife is unacceptable. Like, that's not cool. Like, I love her. Like, I'm with her. Like,
Yeah.
why would you say that?
I almost want him to come to it though, you know?
That's
I
that's
think you
what
do need- yeah.
that's the ideal. That is the ideal.
Like you need to advocate for what you want for sure,
Yeah.
but I'm like, is this not obvious? When we got in the car, he was silent for a while. Then finally he said, "Sorry about all that. That was weird, right?" And honestly, I didn't know what to say because, yeah, it was weird. It was borderline disrespectful. And the fact that he was there, saw all of it, clearly felt it too, and still didn't step in or pull the plug, it makes me feel kind of alone in this. I think that's a completely fair thing for OP to feel.
Most definitely.
I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this woman is harmless or just awkward. He knows exactly what she's doing. I don't want to start a huge fight, but I'm at the point where I don't want her in our lives, not as a friend, not as a ghost in the corner of our marriage. No more bending over backwards to be the cool wife. I'm not interested in earning points with someone who clearly doesn't want me around. Anyway, thanks for letting me scream into the void for a minute. I really needed to get this out. There are a few things that we want to clarify about this story. But before I get into that, John, any thoughts on what we have so far?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of like, I don't know, probably my response in OP shoes would be, are you telling me that you didn't see like anything? Is this so weird and out of place? Do you think this is completely out of left field? And also probably share like, hey, I had all these moments where, like you said earlier, it feels like she's like always talking around me and kind of like almost like getting in her head. This, I think, proves a lot of that. But she's clearly trying to like mess with her, like provoke her in some way, especially with the comments you said.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you don't want someone like that anywhere near your marriage, because although their bond may be close enough to weather that kind of shenanigans, like
why weather it?
Why weather it? Why even put your relationship in the crosshairs of that? So clarify a few things. C is actually a photography major, and this shoot was part of her final project. I'm not a professional model or anything, but I've done some hobby modeling here and there. And when she asked if I helped out, and when she asked if I would help out, I thought it was a casual favor. Why at her house? Well, she comes from a wealthy family and has a fully set up photo studio in their house, which is why the shoot happened there instead of at a regular studio. I honestly thought it'd just be her and the camera, not a full audience with drinks and commentary. Additional background, I grew up in a pretty emotionally harmful household, so I think I've gotten used to passive-aggressive comments and just sort of freeze up. Maybe that's why I didn't react more in the moment, but yeah, it definitely hit harder after the fact. I'll update you as soon as possible. And consensus, people say that she's a doormat, that her husband is probably cheating with a best friend with the 100% probability.
100% probability?
I don't know if it's 100%.
Woo!
I don't know if it's 100%.
That's some math for you right there.
That's crazy.
Statistics.
But we got some notable comments. So,
okay.
Borderline disrespectful. I'd hate to see what you think is actually disrespectful, says
Yes!
No Strawberry 5804. You should be telling your husband it's not weird. It's par for the course. This is just a step towards a very apparent behavior from C that he's allowed to let happen over and over every time he left, whether to spend time with her out of the home or over the phone to spend time with her. She tallied that as a victory. Now it's a matter of pushing the line. How much will he allow at your expense? How easy will he forgive with a short, insincere apology if he finally says something? She's playing the long game, trying to plant ideas, and it's even better when someone else can plant the ideas too. Enter her family. This is not new. This is not weird. This is her normal behavior toward you. Maybe his rose-colored glasses are slipping. Says mistakes were made, 427. And girl, if there was ever a legitimate reason to start a fight, it is this. That is a bizarre power move, and your husband being a doormat, allowing them to humiliate you, made her think she won. You need to have a heart-to-heart with your husband because it seems like they were together at some point, and your husband is not being honest with you. He also needs to learn to stand up for his wife. And if you want to give him the benefit of doubt that his eyes have been opened about his old friend's feelings about him and you, that's one thing. His take on it now and his response will tell you what kind of husband he really is. Ignoring or justifying her behavior would be red flags at this point. And another person says, time for spine check. I'm guessing it's pretty wobbly if it's there. And we got an update.
I love that. Spine check.
Spine check. Well, a quick recap for those who missed the original. My husband's childhood best friend, C, has never liked me. She skipped all invitations but invites my husband alone. avoids me in person, and still found little ways to insert herself into his life. The final straw, she asked me to model for her final project in photography, and I showed up thinking maybe it was a fresh start. Nope. Instead, I got publicly mocked by her family, who joked out loud that she should have been the one marrying my husband. First off, holy crap. I did not expect that post to blow up like it did. Thank you to everyone who commented messages or just made me make sure I wasn't losing my mind. So many of you asked for an update. So here it is.
Yeah.
For those wondering, no, they never dated. He had a high school crush on her over a decade ago. That's ancient history. No, I don't think he's ever cheated emotionally or physically. He's always very open and honest. We have each other's passwords. They barely see each other anymore in person, maybe once every few months. We live about 2 hours away. So here's the update. Do you think he's cheating or not cheating?
I see. I just assumed he was a bit of a dummy.
Yeah.
Could
be a little bit of a dummy,
but he could be a maliciously smart
dummy.
Yeah. I'm kind of 50-50.
I want to believe more dummy.
Yeah.
I want to believe more dummy.
Yeah.
Let's see where we actually are. So funny enough, I didn't even get the chance to sit down and talk to my husband for her. Something else happened. I just can't believe my life at the moment. Anyway, I was still trying to process what happened and sort through my anger towards C, and honestly towards my husband too. That's when I got a message from my sister-in-law. We'll call her M. I'm really close with M. She's also part of the wider social circle that C floats around in. They're friendly, but not close. She sent me a screen recording from C's close friend's story with a simple, "What the F?" It was a clip of me posing during the shoot, no music, but in the background, you can clearly hear C's sister say, C should have been the one to marry him. I lost it. I waited until my husband got home from work, sat him down, showed him the video. He watched it once, then again. His whole face changed. He finally looked pissed. I could not help but think, why didn't he have the same reaction there? So I laid it out. I told him everything. Every snide comment, every time C made me feel small, how I'd always tried to be civil, how I never asked him to choose between us, but I was done being polite while someone consistently disrespected me. I told him, if this doesn't bother you enough to act, we've got a bigger problem. I don't like how this is worded because it feels ultimatum-y, but I do think it's true.
Yes. Yeah. It's and it's like, you can understand where OP's coming from because it's just
so frustrated.
It's just so frustrated, and it gets to a point. And yeah, I think
you got to say something.
I think OP's just been so frazzled and burned by it, you know? Yeah.
I'm not going to be in a marriage where I have to beg to be defended. I need a partner who stands up for me. And if that's not you, then I need to rethink this. Again, this is all true, but I feel like we're using breakup language right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're quite. It feels a little bit too much, at least for me, but I can totally understand someone else doing that. I'm curious for everyone out there, would you use breakup language in this situation? Yes or no? Maybe breakup language or nah. Let me know. He didn't argue, didn't get defensive, and I know he feels sorry. Then I showed him the Reddit post. He tried to read every comment. Some of them made him tear up. When he finished, he looked at me and said that he feels like the worst husband. He let this happen right in front of him. He is so sorry and asked me, what do you need from me right now? First W question.
There we go.
In a freaking while. What do you need from me right now is, I think, one of the most underrated but best questions you can ask anyone that you're trying to support. Such a goated question.
Yes.
Such a goated question. I told him straight up, this isn't about her anymore. It's about whether you're not willing to protect this marriage. But I'm not going to feel like I'm second place in my own relationship. So it's either me or her. Again, I don't know about the ultimatum.
Yeah.
You never want to force a behavior change from a place of guilt. Yeah, you never want to force a relationship change from a place of guilt, because although guilting someone into change will give you the short-term results that you want, it won't give you long-term results. It's not an identity change. And so, like, I feel like this ultimatum, what it does is it guilts this guy into doing the right thing. But is it actually bringing upon the change that OP wants? I really don't think so.
Yeah.
And so I feel maybe what's more telling is like, well, what do you think I need? I don't know if that feels right either, but I feel it feels better than the ultimatum. And then see kind of what he says, and then based on that answer, kind of make a decision for yourself. We called C. She picked up all cheerful, acting like nothing happened. We brought up the video. She immediately got defensive. Oh, come on, that was a joke. Are you really mad over that? Seriously? And that's when he stepped in. This isn't just about the video. It's the constant disrespect towards my wife. I didn't say anything before because I didn't want to lose your friendship, and I convinced myself you didn't mean it. But what happened at that shoot, that was disgusting. My wife came to support you, and you and your family treated her like a joke. I didn't speak up then, and I'm ashamed of that. But that ends now. I don't even know why I held on to this friendship for so long. If you can't respect my wife, you don't respect me. She laughed. Literally laughed.
There's your answer.
Wow. You're really cutting me off over that girl?
That girl.
It's his wife.
You're that girl.
OMG, I was ready to fight. But my husband calmed me down, said to see if choosing between you and my wife ever felt like a hard decision, I wouldn't deserve her. We're not kids anymore. You need to grow up. I simply do not want to be your friend anymore. I have nothing else to say. Telling you he can be a gem sometimes. And also, if you want to be our little gem, you should listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update. But what do you think, John? What do you think about what OP's husband said to this friend? Big air quotes there.
You know, I like it.
I like it.
And when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. Believe them. Exactly. You know, and I feel like she's been yelling loud and clear, I am a massive C word. And finally they listen.
And now we can move forward with the information at hand.
Yes. But we got a little bit more to this story. Yeah, we blocked her and her entire family. Since then, he's been checking in with me, not trying to fix things, just showing up, listening, understanding. He finally sees what I've been dealing with. We still have some healing to do, but now I know where he stands, and that changes everything to me. To everyone who commented last time, thank you. Seriously, you helped me feel like I wasn't crazy, and maybe even more importantly, you helped him finally see it too. Consensus. People are glad husband stepped up. And we got some notable comments, which I think OP responded to. It was the fact that she genuinely thought that there was any choice between you and her. And also you should update us because I guarantee this won't be the last time you hear from her.
Oh.
Which I think could be true. And this is what apologizing looks like. Address your shortcomings, ask what to do to fix it, and act with intent to remedy the situation at hand in order to mend the one at risk. It sucks a guy sometimes has to get slapped across the face with something that is so obvious, but it's how he responded that it was redeeming. And that is where that story ends.
There it is.
There it is. There. I love ending with a little wide.
We've grown.
Know?
The wide.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in a much way, we've grown. You know, we've grown the view,
expanded our minds
and our little views on the world. I don't know if I like the whole ultimatum thing.
There's some missteps, you know, but know. If we're given some grace here and there, it's like, hey, it was road could be a little bumpy, but hey, we arrived in a nice place. And
I guess like my communication style is like so devoid of aggression. Like I never really communicate that way, so it's really hard for me to see the efficacy in that. But I recognize that I am not the only communication style that is out there. I just think often like because of how aggressive an ultimatum is, it can convince people through guilt rather than actual desire to change.
My friend was horrible during my Bachelorette. It's time for a break.
I think so.
Background. I got engaged in 2020 after the lockdowns, but long before my friends and I were comfortable seeing each other in person. A couple of months after my fiance and I got engaged, I sent out packages to all the ladies I had chosen as bridesmaids. One of them is the crazy bridesmaid, I'll call her Ellen for the sake of anonymity, for whom this post is about. By the way, this comes from Tyre Labrise, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We've been friends since high school and are still in the same core friend group, and while not as close as we once were, I still wanted her to be a big part of our special day. We recently went on my bachelorette party, which was a weekend-long trip to an affluent town a couple of hours away on the coast. We were a large group of girls, and it took my maid of honor a lot of time and effort to coordinate an itinerary and place to stay that would accommodate everyone. On to the story. From the very second we got into the house rental, Ellen was anxious.
Oh, boy.
Everything was about Ellen. Everything Ellen over here. Someone had a funny story to share. Ellen had a funny one. Someone complimented another person's outfit. Ellen had to step in the middle of the room and talk about how awesome her outfit was. So beautiful.
I mean, your outfit is great.
Oh, so gorgeous. At one point, someone asked me where we were honeymooning. And Sam, what
My honeymoon was better.
Pray tell, what do we think Ellen said?
Ellen came in and said her honeymoon was better. That's what I'm thinking.
Ellen and her husband had just booked a vacation to that same resort. And on and on and on.
Oh, my God.
Now, I am not the type of bride that needs constant attention. Seriously, I had to take a day off the Bachelorette because 72 hours straight of socializing had me completely exhausted. Anyways, on to the worst of what Ellen did. Those were just some appetizers, ladies and gentlemen. On our final night, we had a reservation at the nicest restaurant in town. I'm talking renowned chef, $80+ entrees, dress code, etc.
Oh.
Everyone got dressed up and excited. We arrived to the restaurant around 5 minutes early. Our table wasn't ready yet. No problem. I understand that there are currently staffing shortages in the service industry and that patience is a virtue. Ellen does not understand this because she immediately started scolding the hostess for not having our table ready and then scolded her for seating us outside at an outdoor restaurant. And next to a live band, everyone wanted to go for the music in addition to the food. It got increasingly worse from there. Ellen spoke about money constantly, as in how much she makes, how much she will make, how much her lifestyle will be going forward.
That is the most boring topic imaginable.
God, dude. Something important to note is that everyone on the trip is not rich. Most of us come from privileged backgrounds, family, but independently are not wealthy. We are middle and upper middle class. Some are educators, some are mothers, some are in sales. We all work. Some have student loans. And while we are much, much more privileged than some, we don't talk about money. My opinion is that when you talk about how well off you are, you do a great job at making others feel like crap. Yeah, and I feel like generally, like, healthy conversations around money are like financial literacy, like education. Never like, oh yeah, you know, I'm out here making the big bucks and getting Mr. McMansion Yachterson over here.
Mr. McMansion.
Mr. McMansion Yachterson. He was number one.
I actually love that. I love, like, you know, like Richie Rich.
Yeah.
See, that's a boring name. I want Mr. McMansion Yachterson. That's a name that I can get behind. He was number
one, okay? Not to mention that literally no one gives a rat's butt about your financial situation. But back to the dinner. Ellen ordered around the waitstaff in a demeaning manner.
Dude, that is like one of the biggest red flags of any person.
Biggest and easiest red flag.
Yeah, dude.
Ever.
If they are terrible to waitstaff, dude, get out of my face.
Screamed at a busboy to make him take away patio heaters from other patrons and bring them to our table. Screamed at a manager to bring us complimentary Prosecco because she was cold. Lol. Took her cell phone flashlight out to show the manager that her steak was cooked. Bro, she had the full interrogation.
Yeah.
Look here.
Look what you've done.
It's medium rare, not medium rare. Well, to show the manager that the steak was cooked medium and not medium rare, and made it a point to yell at / berate every employee she saw. It was mortifying.
It sounds like a great time.
Dude, what's the point where we're
you
like,
gotta leave.
Hey, Ellen, sorry, girl, but this is not it. And, you know, we're trying to enjoy the rest of this thing. Or, you know, I don't know how to say it, but I'm like, girl, bye, you know?
I think at some point you gotta, like, after yelling at the busboy, I feel like you would be like, yo, Ellen, that was really whack. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
She's your friend. I feel like you could confront her a little bit.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I would confront a little bit. I'm like, hey, that's really whack. Like, we don't want to do that.
Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm very, very curious. Would you kick her out of the bachelorette party as of now? Please comment below. I'm curious. The final straw was when it was announced that my father had graciously called the restaurant to pay for our $1,500 bill as a gift to us all on our last night of the trip.
That's super nice.
So sweet, so cute. Ellen's immediate response was not to thank my father. He was on the phone with the maid of honor. Oh no, Ellen's first response was, well, if I knew someone else was paying for my meal, I wouldn't have asked for my steak to be comped.
Ellen,
keep your eye on the prize.
If she's making so much money, why is she fretting about comping steaks?
Why do we care?
Why do you, something's not
Why
adding
do
up.
we care? The math ain't mathin', Ellen. You know what I'm getting? Huge debt, living a crazy lifestyle.
Ooh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I'm getting
debt.
here.
Yep.
I excused myself and went to the bathroom, holding back tears of frustration and disgust. The next day, we were getting ready to leave, and Ellen was clueless as to why nobody wanted to engage with her. Ellen is unaware of her behavior, never thanked my dad, and is mad at me, the bride, for wanting to go to a nearby pub for a nightcap after dinner. I needed one. Trust me. Yeah, it's just, I always just feel for people in these stories where their weddings or bachelorette parties are ruined by a single person. It's just so sad, man. It's supposed to be like once in a lifetime thing.
And they make it all about them. Yeah.
But after I headed home, Ellen and two other girls got into a roller coaster of a conversation that did not end well for Ellen. I am still so disgusted by the way she treated the employees at the restaurant. I am so appalled by the way she grossly discussed money in front of the girls who are underpaid public school teachers. My wedding is coming up in under 2 weeks, and I want the day to be drama-free. I am planning to compartmentalize my anger and frustration towards Ellen and not acknowledge it until the wedding is over.
I mean, I think you should just not invite Ellen.
Yes.
I feel like Ellen's going to be a mess. I feel like you should use this information.
Yes, use it.
And integrate it into all of your decision-making so you do not invite Ellen, the crazy, to your beautiful wedding.
Yes. Use your anger. Opie says, my question is, should I even bother talking to Ellen after the wedding about why I'm upset? At this point, I don't even know if I want to continue the friendship. I feel so sad and hurt over all of this. And we do have some relevant comments. We still got like half the story left to go, but real quick, just to explicitly answer Opie's question.
You should definitely talk to her.
Definitely talk to her.
Definitely talk to her. I mean, this behavior is almost uninvite-worthy, or I think is uninvite-worthy. And so you need to understand what the heck is going on in her life where she's acting out like this, because I can't imagine this is behavior that has happened often, or she wouldn't be a bridesmaid. Right.
I mean, I think back in the beginning, she did kind of preface like she was kind of always not like
there
the coolest cat.
Then why is she?
Then why do you?
Yeah. Why invite her? I think have a conversation with her first. Yeah. Say like, hey, like, do you realize how bad that was? And depending on her answer, then I think it might be definitely stepping down as bridesmaid for sure. I don't know, like. Is she going to pull the same crap at your wedding? Like, I feel like...
Yeah.
I would take this one. Oh, I don't know if I want this person at my wedding.
Yeah, I think especially because not like either A, she would be a bridesmaid, so that way she has like, it's like easier for her to mess things up like the ceremony, or B, she gets bumped from being a bridesmaid and then she's like so disgruntled that she causes a scene. Like, I honestly think for OP's sanity, it's like, I think give her the iPhone lock screen like, hey, we need to time out a little bit. That timeout includes 2 weeks, a.k.a. my wedding.
Yeah.
But we have some relevant comments. Commenter number 1 says, I'd have words before the wedding and ask her to sit down as a bridesmaid, even retract her invitation completely. She isn't there to make you happier. You'll be worried all day about her behavior. And OP replies, 2 bridesmaids have apparently stepped up to wrangle her on the day of and keep her in line, but I am seriously considering uninviting her, which is something I am going to discuss with my fiance when we both get home from work tonight. You're right that if she comes to the wedding, I will be worried about her behavior all day, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Nor should you. Thankful to strangers on the internet for helping me see clearly. Haha. Reply, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting that responsibility on my friends. If she's a grown adult and can't behave as such, that's her problem. OP says they offered. I didn't ask, which is why I am okay with the idea of it for now. One of my bridesmaids is her BFF/former roommate, so she knows her very well. And we have the update.
I want to hear it.
Let's get into it.
Let's hit it.
Some of you asked for an update, so here it is. I was planning to talk to Ellen after hearing so many of your thoughts, but the conversation was put on hold when one of my other bridesmaids, we'll call her Morgan, called me crying 4 days before the wedding. Her boyfriend had a massive heart attack. Oh my God.
What?
He is in his 30s and leads an active and healthy lifestyle.
Oh my God.
So to say we were all shocked would be an understatement.
Oh my God.
Needless to say, everyone's focus shifted towards supporting Morgan's boyfriend and Morgan herself during such a tough time. Luckily, everyone is now home, healthy, and recovering. Whew, oh my God. What a
world. I feel like,
Jeez.
Something like that happens. You're like, oh, wow, all that stuff is put in perspective.
Yes, it just
you're like,
realigns
all right.
everything,
Oh,
right?
man.
So after the wedding, my husband and I went on our honeymoon, and I planned to speak to Ellen when I got back. So it sounds like Ellen did still go to the wedding. As soon as we landed, Morgan and another bridesmaid, Lana, let me know that Ellen had dropped both of them as friends after 15 years.
Why?
I was shocked. Apparently, Ellen told them that they left her to fend for herself on the last night of the Bachelorette because she wanted to stay at a pub with friends we ran into, and we left.
Ellen is a little odd. Ellen is an odd duck. Ellen is drama.
Like literally, she met her other friends there.
Ellen is drama, dude. This is wild. I don't like this
Ellen,
at all.
Please explain.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So Ellen takes medication and needs to take it by 9 a.m. It was in her hotel room. Her Uber kept canceling that night, and she demanded that Morgan come get her at 3 a.m. This would have meant waking up multiple sleeping girls at that hour to move their cars after everyone had been drinking. It was a horrible idea, and luckily, Ellen got an Uber within 30 minutes and got back to her hotel. Regardless of all of this, Ellen blames both of the girls for quote-unquote leaving her to fend for herself, even though she was never in any danger. And for the record, I repeatedly asked her if she wanted to take our Uber back with us. I also asked her if she was okay staying, and she said she wanted to. She knew all of the people at the pub and didn't want to call it a night at that point. So after learning all of this, I reached out to Ellen and told her every single thing she did to ruin my Bachelorette weekend. Now we're communicating. The communication is we're at communication station, and the train is left. I told her she was entitled, tacky, and horribly behaved. I expressed how upset she made not only me, but all of the other girls on the trip. By the way, if you don't want to upset me, go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart and search OK Storytime. Listen to our 2000 episodes. Please.
Do it. John will get mad. You won't like him when he's angry.
But ladies and gentlemen, we have the finale to the story.
Let's hit it.
A little bit of a surprise.
Okay.
Shockingly, she apologized for everything.
I don't believe it.
Total 180. She's cured.
No.
She's cured.
You're goofing me. You're giving me a goof.
Put the text on the screen. Boom.
What?
That's just the first sentence, though. That's just the first sentence. Buckle your seatbelts, gentlemen. She told me she appreciated my honesty and was glad that I called her out, and that she's always been envious/jealous of me. It was wild and unexpected.
What? Okay. All right. That's honestly a very unexpected but great response.
Little breath of fresh air, I guess.
Okay.
Regardless, I told her I need to take a break from the friendship because of how horrible she acted. Just straight up taking her advice. Let's go.
That's fair.
And that I can't be friends with someone who brings jealous and negative energy into the mix.
That's totally fair.
We left it at that.
Wow. That's great.
It's a huge bummer, but I'd rather have supportive and meaningful friendships than fake and jealous ones.
Yeah, dude. Agreed.
And there you go.
Wow. That's where it ends? Low key.
Over.
Phenomenal communication at the end by both of them.
Yeah, dude.
I think that was a masterclass for both of them. Like with everything that happened before, Ellen admitted that she did wrong, admitted why she did wrong, and then OP's like, "Oh wow, I thank you for telling me, but I don't want that kind of friendship.
Yes,
I'm not going no contact, cutting you out, but we're taking distance.
We need some time."
Yes.
Wow. Masterclass. Pretty good.